The big one, the mid-size one, or the small one? That's the question. Welcome to today's episode. On this material I'm going to compare just roughly 3 different sizes of the wheels, and just within 4 days we're gonna do some nice testing and comparison with the local riders, the viewers of my Polish channel. And so here we have Marine Nail Trail. 3 bikes are hardtails. The Nail Trail, you can see just in the front, you can see the difference in the sizes. That's the 29er. This one here, that's the Marine Pine Mountain, and this is the 27.5 Plus. So we have the big volume of the tire. And finally the Nail Trail. You saw me racing on this bike already a couple of weeks ago on some MTB marathon. This is the Nail Trail also, but 27.5. So here we are going to roughly compare what's the difference in terms of the geometry, how long the bikes are, how tall, what the fork would be like, and then we'll just think what would we try to get out of these 3 sizes of the tires. And then in the second episode, in the second part, you're gonna see 5 people, me including, so 6 riders, comparing these bikes, and we'll see which bike is better in turns, which bike climbs better, which bike is more for trail riding, or maybe for some cross-country or marathon racing. We're gonna see, so let's just compare these. Now you can take a look at these bikes. You can see the difference in the wheel size right away, even from the distance. But one thing is important here: the smallest wheel, the 27.5, is with the smallest frame. This Nail Trail here is medium frame, Pine Mountain is large, and this Nail Trail on 29-inch wheel is also large. I've been riding on this one. I'm 1.8 meters, so 182 centimeters. And it was just fine for me, so we can do the comparison, but it really looks like very little because of the frame as well. How will these bikes behave? Now this is the biggest volume, right? All these bikes are hardtails, but since here we've got the most volume in terms of the air, and we have the steel frame, we think this bike will be the most compliant. It's almost sure. Will this bike be the most playful one? We'll just see. 3 dimensions that can be very interesting for all of us here is how high the wheels are. 27.5 has 68.5 centimeters. That's the height of the wheel. Now we've got the 27.5 Plus, and this one is 70. Just a second, this one is 71.5, so there is a difference. But then the 29er is 74 point something. So this dimension really surprised me, that 29er is much higher than 27.5 Plus. I've never really measured it. I thought that the Plus wheel will be much closer to the 29er. Now, where would you like to see these bikes being compared? In the turns, on the climbs, on the descents, on the sand? Let us know, because we are doing this comparison with, as I said, 5 other riders now on Saturday. And we already have some loop. You know some part of this loop from my reviews of the bicycles, but if you have like some special wishes, we're gonna do it for you. So we're gonna plan the loop before we meet on Saturday. Is the 29er hardtail, is this like a MTB cross-country marathon bike or trail bike? I think this is much more the trail bike than racing bike. That's the purpose of this bike, and I'm really thinking about this one. We've got the Pine Mountain, the e-bike we have, but without the suspension fork. It's been with us for 6 months. It's been a lovely bike, but having a fork and no motor will make a huge difference. I did like the 27.5 on the race. I did like it a lot, and for me that will be mostly the comparison between 27.5 and 29er, and for me that would be the question: why Nino Schurter, well, Julien Absalon as well, did not want to change from 29er to 27.5. This was the bike I've been racing on a couple of weeks ago. Good one. Marine Nail Trail 7 on SLX rear derailleur with some no-name, I would say, crankset and RockShox Yari in the front. Thumbs up for the fork. We have the dropper post and the flat pedals, cheap ones, and these were the original for some of these Marines here. Now the weight of this bike, 27.5, 2.25 the width, and the medium frame, it is 9.7 kilos. Joking, 12.5. So we've got 12.5 kilos. It will matter when we climb on each of these bikes. We'll see how the Pine Mountain and the other Nail Trail looks like. This one here, which is the red or orange Pine Mountain, that's the steel bike. The model is number 1. We've got 27.5 plus, so 3.0 the width of the tires. SLX rear derailleur and some similar components to other bikes. No dropper post, steel frame, and no pedals. So this one is without the pedals. And RockShox Recon in the front. The weight of this bike will be 14.4 kilos. And finally, Marine Nail Trail 6, this is the 29er, 2.25, that's the width of the tire. The components are pretty similar. So in the rear we have SRAM NX, the other components are just as on the other bikes. In the front, RockShox Recon, no dropper post. This is the large size with the platform pedals, and the weight of this bike is, guess, it's 13.1 or 2, 13 point, somewhere between 1 and 2. So now, as we know the main differences, roughly the geometry or the height of the wheels and now the weight, we can proceed to the comparison. We're gonna do it on Saturday, so next week, let's say maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, we're gonna publish what the guys, the riders, will tell you about how they felt on the bikes and what will be the time of the testing loop on each of those. It's gonna be interesting. Let us know in the comment section, where would you like to see this bike tested, in what particular technical terrain. We're gonna do it for you. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.